Word on the street is that William Nylander is about to sign a ridiculous contract. Let's go into that in a little bit more detail in this video right here. So it sounds like our boy, Swedish supermodel sensation William Nylander is about to sign a really big contract with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Nick Kyprios was reporting that he was hearing some rumblings that he was going to be signing an 8-year, $11.25 million a year contract. Pierre LeBrun came out today saying that he's hearing something similar. On the Chris Johnson show today, he was reporting that he's hearing above 11 million as well. So they're all saying it's going to be 8 years for sure, above 11 million. Chris Johnson came out and said, hey, this isn't done yet. It could still be weeks, it could still be months. But he was assuming, he said it was going to be 98% chance that William Nylander was going to sign with the Leafs. And it sounds like it could be soon. Look at him. He's a beauty. It's so steep, though. We already have, going into next year, we have Austin Matthews at $13.25 million. We have John Tavares on the last year of his contract next year at 11. Marner's at 10.9, and William would be at 11.25 or more, 11 plus. So, I made a team on Cap Friendly projecting into next year, as long as there's no trades this year, just to see if it could work. I was like, William Nylander 11.5, can it still work? We'll get into that in a second. But this contract would be identical to the one that David Pastrnak signed last year. 11.25 million times 8 is what the reports are, but we'll see what ends up happening until it's signed. She's not signed. But looking at the numbers between Pastrnak and Nylander, they're not even close. So Pastrnak, to the last year, you remove this, but basically this year he has 628 games played, and he has 667 points. He has 323 goals in his career. They were drafted in the same year in 2014. Nylander 8th overall. Pastrnak was 25th overall. Nylander has 557 game played, 481 points, and 196 goals. So 100 less games, 100 less goals, less points per game. So overall, he just hasn't had as productive of a career as Pastrnak yet. Pastrnak also has more playoff games by 27. He has more playoff points per game as well. He's just an overall more successful player to date. So the 11.25 is hard to imagine for Nylander. Although in saying that, on a cap percentage, it's going to be lower. So when this deal was signed, the cap percentage for Pastrnak was 13.64, but the cap next year is projected to go up to 87.7, which would be about $4 million increase. So call William Nylander in a 12.8%. That was just head math, so who knows. Nylander's having a great year this year, 51 points in 36 games. This is steep, guys. This is so steep. I was hoping that, like, in the offseason, 8 years, 9.5 a year would be perfect. 10 would be steep. 10.5 would be the tops that I would do, but he's so talented. So let's go. I made this on Cap Friendly, so go check out Cap Friendly. This team quickly. We'll just go over it very briefly to see if it's viable, if we could have everybody as is and see what we could make. It looks like it's viable. Pretty viable. So first line still the same, Nyes, Matthews, Marner. Second line, we have Tavares and Nylander. I could not re-sign Bertuzzi. So Bertuzzi had to go. He's $5.5 million cap hit this year. He gone. So I put Robertson up there. So there's Robertson. I re-signed Domi. Domi's making $3 million right now. I put $3.5 million a year for 3 years. He's been just steady as our number 3 center. I paired him up with Fraser Minton and Easton Cowan. Who knows if they're going to make the team or not. In this scenario, we would still have Holmberg and we would still have Steves, who could also fill up those slots. So don't yell at me for putting Easton Cowan and Minton on the lineup for next year. Gregor, I signed him to league minimum again. I believe he's been doing a great job for the Leafs. I know he's been doing a good job for the Leafs. I wouldn't give him any more than that. If he doesn't want to sign the league minimum here, then we just get another player to do it. David Kampf, Yarncroke on the fourth line. Yarncroke could easily move up as well. He's a very good player. Does not deserve to be on the fourth line, but I put him here just for the sake of it for now. And then Ryan Reeves. On defense, this is where I made most of our changes. The reason why I didn't get Bertuzzi re-signed was to upgrade our defense. So we got Morgan Riley in this situation. We got Matt Roy, who is currently a defenseman on LA. I signed him for 4 years, $5.5 million a year. He's a very good defensive defenseman. He's playing number 3 minutes, I believe, on LA, beside Doughty, if I'm not mistaken. And he's just a very solid defensive defenseman. He's 28 years old, so this would take him until he's like 32, 33. It's basically like a younger version of Brody, more physical as well. I got Zadorov for 4 years at $4 million a year. He's huge. I know Brad Treliving signed him on his last contract, so I can see the fit. With Liljegren, I put 3 years at $3.5 million a year. And then Benoit, he's been doing well, so I've signed him for 2 years at $1 million. And with McCabe, and then I have Timmins as our spare. This lineup can be changed many different ways. Who knows what each player is going to get? I'm not the best at predicting contracts, but I tried to be as objective as possible in that regard. So we'll see. The cap is going up, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see some crazy numbers in this offseason. In net, I went Joseph Wool, and I signed Martin Jones for 2 years at $1.25 million. This is where we have no... I put no cap space into our defense. Ultimately, cap is going up to 87.7 is what we're projecting it to be, what it sounds like. We would have a 22-man roster, and there's 348,000 in cap space here. So there is cap room. We can adjust some things. We could always play with a 21-man roster and bump up some of these offers, but this is what it looks like. Ultimately, this would be a very solid decor, better than what we have this year. Our forward lineup looks pretty good. Obviously, we're missing Bertuzzi, who has been good, but it's not too bad. I kind of like it. I'm okay not spending much money on goaltending. A few teams are doing it, and it's kind of working out. I just find goaltending is like such a volatile position, and the more money you put into it, the harder it is to get consistency, or like it kind of throws off the rest of your roster. Because if you have your $6 million guy, then all of a sudden he can't save anything. That's a big hole that you kind of need to fill. So if you look at like a team like Vegas, they've kind of went like last year. They got a few cheap guys, and then somebody got to figure it out, and it worked out. LA's kind of doing the same thing this year. I can see the Leafs playing around with that idea next year as well. So this is the roster. What are you guys thinking? 11.25 times 8 for Nylander. We'll see if and when it gets signed. But what are your thoughts in the comments below? I would love to hear it. Obviously, new channel, guys. Thank you so much for all the support I've been receiving. I feel like this channel has already taken off quite a bit considering how much work I put in it. Goal for 2024 is to get monetized, and I would love to get monetized as soon as possible. And you need 1,000 subscribers for that. So please, chuck a subscribe if you're enjoying the content. Also, go check out this is the Leafs memorabilia right now, the Doug Gilmour jersey. Anyways, much love to you. I'll be posting on a more frequent basis as well. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, comment below. I love you guys. Brian, the Leafs guy, out.